welcome to the IT Global Direction. My name is Rorisang Hlahatsi-Baloyi, and I'll be your host for today. Then please tell us, where are you, who are you, and what's the hot topic for today?
Good morning, Rorisang. First, thank you so much for having me here. I am located in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am working as a data analyst, and so I suppose the hot topic for today will be along those lines.
That's interesting. So then, what is data analyst? You mentioned your role as a data analyst. So what do you do with data? What does that mean?
I play with data and I attempt very, very hard to extricate strategic insights to help businesses either save money or increase revenue.
Oh, that's interesting. And are you using any tools to do this? Any methodology that you would like to share with us today?
Um, the tools are varied, I'll tell you, and they change very often. Right now, Python is the hot tool. R also is hot, although not as hot as Python. And as regards methodology, I suppose it really boils down to various forms of statistical analyses. There's
Mhm.
quite an emphasis on machine learning, although if once you start to dig deep into it, you find that it's all math made pretty easy thanks to latest advances in technology.
Hmm, that's interesting. And on the statistic side, do you have any specific methodology that you use to analyze data, or is it one size fit all?
It really depends on the problem. A lot of it is connecting the dots,
Mm,
determining that the data fit a certain pattern and it can be analyzed using a specific methodology within statistics itself.
mm,
What kind of example could I give? Um, a little while ago, I was faced with a problem trying to fit categorical data, or not categorical, binary data.
yeah.
And in my brain, the neurons fired, and I realized that I could use a logistic regression model to fit it.
Mm.
Ultimately, it didn't work out, but I really do have to say that a lot of the methodology has to do with neurons firing in my brain, realizing, oh, why don't we just try this, see what happens?
Yeah, and what informs your neurons? Because it must have been experience, right? So, what's the methodology that is used by neurons to say, okay, this seems like a right tool to use now, and maybe this time I need to use a different methodology?
I would say that it's a bit of experience and also a bit of curiosity. I look at a
Mm,
problem and I think, let's just try this, see what works, play around with it, and whatever happens, happens.
mm. And where do you see data analyst capabilities being used in organizations? Do you have any scenarios that you can share with our viewers?
I can't give any specific scenarios at the top of my head, but I was reading an article a few days ago how most Fortune 500 companies are realizing the value of data analytics in terms of saving money.
Mm,
Many have plans to save billions of dollars over the next 5 years.
yeah. And where exactly can they use it? Is it a marketing capability? Is it what exactly within the organization can data analytics be used? Is it for projecting or predicting the future, or is it an after effect where now we've seen numbers and we say we want to have billions and we only apply data analytics on the outcome base, or is it an upfront thing? So where exactly is it used in an organization?
It can really be used almost anywhere in an organization, I'll tell you that.
Mm,
To talk about your first example, marketing, I've seen how companies have employed data analytics and specifically learning strategies.
yeah.
They've integrated them into their own marketing strategies. For example, they use a machine learning methodology to direct certain marketing papers, certain marketing emails, notifications, etc., to specific customers. I've
Mm,
seen it used in supply chains in order to optimize efficiency, also usually with machine learning. These sorts of areas require the use of something called decision trees. Those are
mm,
machine learning algorithms which essentially help you get very specific in regard to certain cases.
Yeah.
Would you repeat the rest of your question, please?
No, I was asking if at the end, you mentioned that a lot of organizations have realized the benefit of having data analysts as part of their organizations. And they've also indicated how, in numbers, how much would this have a business benefit in having a data analyst. So I was asking, is this an afterthought? Do we only have data analysts at the end, or is it something that needs to be considered upfront? I think you answered it very well because you started highlighting the industries that are currently using data analyst capabilities to enhance profits and efficiencies within organizations. And now I have another question. So if a person out there is interested in joining this evolution of data analyst capability, what do you think they need to do to prepare? Is it something that you can learn? Is it directly linked to analyst capabilities, or is it directly linked to statistics? Is it mathematical? What are the key things you think someone need to do to prepare to be a better data analyst?
Either to enter the field or to improve one's standing in the field, I would say the best approach is to improve one's mathematical statistical reasoning and also their ability to apply it to problems and also work on coding and technology skills. Again, Python is the hot programming language. R comes in its second place. And there are so many tools you can use in this area: AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, and all kinds of software. Hadoop, MapReduce, Snowflake, Redshift, I think is one. So many tools. I just don't have the time to go over all of them.
No, that's interesting. And where do you see data and analytics going in the future? Is it a capability that you see in the far future of technology, or is it something that is just a hype for now and it's transitioning into something else?
It's definitely a hype, a very hot hype. Um, It'll be around in the future. Statistics ultimately has been used in industries for, I'd say, 150 years to solve problems and derive insights. In the next 5 years, I have no idea how it'll transform, but I know it'll be here, and whether or not it's called something else is another question altogether. I'll
Mm,
give a brief example on finance. In quantitative finance, statistics and mathematics has been used for decades and it is highly
mm,
profitable.
mm.
It's in a way a bit strange that data analytics has only come to other industries as of late.
Okay. So it's used in multiple industries, which is a very interesting point. Is it enabled by IT, or is it specific to every industry? So if I'm in the health industry, it's slightly different if I'm in the finance industry. Or is it the same everywhere? The methodology is the same, it's just how you apply it in different industries.
I would say the methodologies are the same, but the applications are industry specific.
Yeah, okay. All right, then. It was a very fruitful conversation we had. I think there's quite a lot of learnings from our viewers. Do you have any other thing you think, if someone is interested in joining the evolution of data analytics, they need to know?
Not off the top of my head. There's a lot to know, that's the problem. And I think that's certainly true with almost every job.
Yeah, that's true. So I will try and summarize everything you shared with us today. Very interesting points, I must say. You mentioned that data and analytics is used in multiple industries. The methodology is different, but the methodology is the same, but the application is different for different industries. You also mentioned that there are some hyped technologies that are used now in the data and analytics world. You mentioned Python is one of them, and there's quite a lot of others that I cannot list from the top of my head as well right now. One needs to know statistics in order to be able to be a better data analyst, which is quite interesting. You also indicated that you also need to have some mathematical background in order for you to be able to be a better data analyst. There's a lot that you mentioned. I cannot be able to raise everything, but if there's anything that you want our viewers to know, please feel free to add on what I said if it's very critical for our viewers to know. Is there anything
Uh,
else that you indicated?
I really can't think of anything at the top of my head right now. I have to think about it.
Okay. No, thank you so much for joining IT Global Direction today. It's been a pleasure to have you on our podcast today, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Rorisang. It was a pleasure being here with you today.
Awesome.